What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Superpower Review, the show that brings you news and reviews on comic book related things. I'm Kevin Videnia, and I'm joined by my best friend, Jake Burnell. What's going on, Jake?
Well, much for yourself. Welcome. It's nice to be back.
Nice to be back. Always nice to have you around.
Always.
So, as we all know, Avengers Endgame came out on Friday. We went to go see it last night. We didn't get out of the theater till like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it was glorious.
But let's just start off with saying that IMDb gave this movie a rating of a 9.1 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes gave this movie a 96% fresh tomatoes.
I'm more on the IMDb side.
Yeah, I'm feeling that too. Definitely a great movie. What was some of your favorite points of this movie?
Well, first of all, I'm going to give out the good old warning. Spoilers.
Yes,
everything is not going to...
Just so you know,
don't watch this if you haven't seen it.
Right.
If you don't care, keep watching.
This is definitely a spoiler review, so if you haven't watched the movie yet, watch the movie and then come back, but we're just going to let everything go.
So, one of my favorite things was the big fight against Thanos when they were getting their butts kicked, and then Captain America went to town with Thor's hammer.
Mjolnir.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
Comes back, by the way, if you didn't pick that up. But yeah, and he just wrecked him for a good minute or two.
Dude, when I saw Mjolnir start moving, I was like, oh, well, obviously Thor is going to start wielding, have it back. But when I saw it go in Cap's hands, man, yeah, that was crazy. Because you know what? I wasn't even thinking. As soon as it went in Captain America's hands, I was like, that's right. He is worthy of Mjolnir. And I completely forgot that.
Yep. It was really cool because you see the hammer move towards Thor and then it flies past Thor because Thanos dodges it. Yeah. And then wait, he can only pull it towards him. You can't throw it without touching it.
Right. And
then it just pulls back. They were then you see Captain America just, man. And he knew how to wield it too. He's nah, I've been doing this for years.
Right.
Come at me, bro.
Does he have training for it? How do you just all of a sudden start
First thing he did, all right, I'm just gonna do what Thor does. And just clocked him right in the chin.
No, I would have to say a lot of my favorite parts in this movie had to revolve around Captain America, to be quite honest.
Absolutely.
And, maybe Captain America, had a short screen time in the last movie. He was definitely important in the last movie, but not as important as this movie in Avengers Endgame. When he fights himself, I loved when he fights himself. That was awesome.
And I love how he got annoyed by himself too.
Yeah.
He was it was the good old fashioned Captain America clean. And then this one, he's just, you could tell he's aged and worn and just because he goes, I could do this all day. He's like, yeah, I know. Come on, man. He goes, am I that annoying kind of feel?
Definitely he changed a little bit. He started swearing.
Yep. I know. First thing you said, as soon as you said what was it, shit or whatever, he goes language. And I was like, really, dude?
A lot of great parts with Captain America. I had to say a lot of my favorite parts were with Captain America. Definitely him wielding Mjolnir, him fighting himself, and man,
I wish he kept the beard.
I wish he kept the beard too. Everybody looks better with the beard, right? Am I right? Yeah. I mean, look at that. And he got such a beautiful ending.
Oh, absolutely.
He really did.
I knew it was coming. As soon as they kind of did the time jump and he saw his girl, and I was like, he's not going back.
Yeah.
He's gonna go do the job. He's gonna finish it up.
I kind of figured that. I speculated and guessed that he was gonna go back in time and kind of relive his life. I wasn't expecting it done in that way. But I liked it so much better how they did it and how I thought it was going to be. But the makeup that they used for him to look old...
I couldn't even tell. It looked like it was him, but it could have been passed for another actor in general.
And they could have CGI'd him in. Maybe. I don't know. But he looked fantastic as an old man, and he played or acted as a good old man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was really good. And,
older people usually have few things to say. I just noticed that, and he just kind of he knows that things don't need to be said. They're like, hey, do you want to talk about it? No.
Right. Right.
No.
So I definitely have to say a lot of my favorite parts had to go with Captain America. Any other favorite parts you wanna?
I was a big Iron Man fan of this movie.
Yeah.
I like how he was came back very defeated, and he was very scared.
He took it to heart.
He was scared.
Yeah.
You know, especially like after the 5 years, he was just terrified. He finally got something worth living for, which I feel like Tony Stark was living a very hollow life. If you watch all of his movies and everything like that, his life was very hollow. He was going from woman to woman, kind of drinking his life away.
Yeah.
And then finally, after the 5 years, he got something to live for, which was a little girl and Pepper Potts. You know, he kind of had to learn that. And now he's just terrified to lose it.
Yeah.
So I
And
was very like, oh man, he's always such a good fighter too.
yeah, so for someone who is just a man in an iron suit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's really no specific training with Iron Man, you know what I mean? Yeah. And of course, can we just talk about his death?
Oh Jesus.
That was. People were crying in the theater. Can you believe that?
Really?
You didn't hear them?
No.
I heard people way up in the front sobbing over Iron Man dying. I mean, it's sad, but I mean, I wasn't gonna cry over it.
It was really cool to see the reunion between Iron Man and Spidey.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was
it was
great.
kinda...
Seeing Spidey just coming back in the movie was awesome. And now that you brought Spidey up, you know, I don't want to see Spider-Man in a regular suit unless it's the Iron Spider suit now, because those legs are so awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, it takes away from like Spider-Man. I feel like
A little bit.
it's really easy to be a hero when you got a machine doing all the work for you.
It's just like, you know, he's fighting people and then his legs are fighting people
he
as
didn't.
well.
He didn't. That was not him. He put in like automatic kill mode, and all he did was duck down, and the spider legs did themselves. You could hear him say it. He was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, automatic kill mode." He just ducked down. And he was like, I got it. I don't got it. And like, you know.
Yeah, and Iron Man passing away, very sad. I was expecting it, of course.
I had an idea that somebody was going to die because of it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I wasn't going to pinpoint who.
I was definitely thinking that, you know, Cap could have possibly died, but I thought he was just maybe gonna like kind of retire and just like go back in time. I was also expecting that, but I was also maybe expecting him to die. I was definitely expecting Iron Man to die because both of these guys, their contracts were up.
Yeah, they had to close the book somehow.
Black Widow dying, could care less.
I agree, but I felt for it. I was like, I wasn't about it. But,
Yeah.
You know, I kind of wanted Hawkeye to go more.
I did too, actually. I did too, but if you really think about it, I think Hawkeye is, no offense to anybody, but I think Hawkeye is a little more useful than Black Widow.
I mean, debatable.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Depends.
What are some really good parts that we liked in this movie?
I really liked the female montage. They took all the female heroes in the last go of protecting the Infinity Gauntlet and going against Thanos. You know, there's Pepper Potts in her Iron Widow suit, I guess. I mean,
she's Rescue.
Rescue. All right.
Rescue.
And you had, you know, Scarlet Witch, who was just furious with Thanos.
Furious.
She went toe to toe with him by herself.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
Hell yeah.
I was scared for Thanos, honestly. Like, so yeah. So there's her. There was
the Valkyrie chick.
There was the Wasp. You know, every single one of them, and they were just like, all right, let's go. And I like how they just kind of like you pulled in together. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like some people might be upset about it because of like, oh, they had to make it a point to kind of give them their due. I was like, no, I feel like, you know, it was just a moment of gathering.
Right.
You know. I thought that was really cool though, just to kind of like show that like they were just gonna go ham on Thanos.
Right.
So.
Right. Or protecting the gauntlet. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So many things to talk about this movie.
Oh man, what? Oh, here we go. Here's a good one.
What?
So you had the big three: Thanos, Tony, or Iron Man, and Cap. They finally go and face Thanos again, and they try their best. And you know, of course, you know, Cap is the last man standing, and he's just kind of there. And then the army comes out for Thanos, and like these monsters. Basically everything you've ever seen, plus more from all the movies of Thanos' artillery. All his 4 horsemen of death kind of thing.
Yeah, and you're
his
just like,
entire,
man.
And you're like, oh, how is he going to do this?
They're not going to do this.
And then Doctor Strange's
peeps come out.
And everybody, he transports everybody from everywhere to come fight. You know, was it the Fling Ring? He got to open up all the portals, and then you just saw the Avengers army push through the field.
Everybody from Wakanda.
You could see the look on Thanos' face. He was like,
"Oh, well, damn."
Yeah, because you got to understand, this Thanos is the first time he's ever seen an army like this show up.
Yeah.
In the other one, he already saw it, prepared for it.
Right.
But he thought he had it in the bag.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you see these guys, and he didn't have the Infinity Gauntlet, so it's not like he had like that upper hand.
That power, right?
Oh yeah. And oh man, that was such a good moment. That was like a feel-good moment. I was like, all right,
yeah,
now it's a game.
That was definitely a badass moment, seeing everybody come together, and you're like, what you gonna do now, Thanos? Everybody's together, you're screwed, man.
I was definitely expecting, right before that happened, when Captain America just was getting his butt handed to him, I was really expecting him to get up after a minute of just trying to gather himself and go like, I can do this all day.
Yeah, I was expecting, or maybe like, I can't do this all day.
Yeah, that's the look on his face. But I felt like he had to say it just to kind of like stand his ground. But I mean, just the anticipation was enough for me.
All right, so we're halfway through the show already. I think we went through a lot of our favorite parts. Let's get into our least favorite parts of the movie.
The Hulk.
The Hulk.
The Hulk was my biggest disappointment. If you watch the first one, you know that the Hulk got his butt handed to him. Yeah, and he was scared to come out, or he felt disrespected to come out.
Yeah.
And he just didn't show face. He was in the Hulkbuster suit. It was Bruce Banner the whole time, and I was like, all right. They were like, we're gonna make a big return. Well, needless to say, he didn't. He automatically shows up as Bruce Banner and the Hulk combined simultaneously with the Banner mind and the Hulk body, which was smaller than the actual Hulk, which was actually really upsetting. Yeah. And I feel like they didn't portray that right. The Hulk, from what I understand, feeds off pain in any fashion, and that's what the Hulk pulls through. Emotional pain, being angry, pulls him out. And the Hulk is pretty much Bruce Banner's angry side. And no point was Bruce angry in this movie to even hint, maybe have a little bit of, roid rage or something like that, where it would he's kind of balancing that act of being angry to hold the Hulk there. And the Hulk had his own personality, no matter how much it is Banner's personality, it seems very two people-like.
Yeah, I totally understand what you mean. And you know what? Let's just say it right out the open. Obviously, again, like we said in the first Avengers Infinity movie, he gets spanked by Thanos, and this was the good opportunity where we could see Hulk just really trash Thanos, and we didn't see that at all.
He didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything.
He was a support character in this movie. He literally held up something really heavy. He was pretty much old school Superman. Held up heavy stuff, saved people, and ran errands.
Yeah.
Even I was really upset when they went back in time and hey, just smash things along the way. And he's like, oh yeah. And he didn't know what to do. He's like, oh yeah, bang. Kick,
it was funny for a second, and then you're just
really? Do you not understand who you are?
Right. I mean, the only sole purpose of Hulk in the movie was he was the only person who could sustain the power of all the stones together. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So Hulk was kind of a meh for me. And another character that was really meh for me as well was kind of Thor. Thor was a little disappointing in this movie. Not as much as Hulk, but I feel like Thor was a little bit disappointing. Seeing him fat and, kind of run down a little bit was meh, you know what I mean?
Funny at first.
Funny at first, again, yeah, same thing. Overplayed. Funny at first, but overplayed. You see him fighting in his suit, and he's this, he looks like a young Santa Claus with a
Yeah,
hammer,
oh, absolutely.
with an axe.
Yeah. I think what I don't like about the Thor is like in the very first Thor movie, he was a very serious actor person with comedy like sprinkled in.
Yeah.
You know? And as the movies progressed, as he became more responsible, as life kind of took its toll on him, people were dying while on his watch. Humor became a bigger part of his life, or the movies. I don't know if they just wanted to make it more funny to avoid maybe the death idea, or maybe they were just trying to show that's how Thor dealt with his pain and anguish and everything. When someone dies, he just kind of covered it with humor, which gave him a very human aspect to it, which I did enjoy. But I feel like they went a little too far with it.
Exactly, and I have to 100% agree with that, because you know what? I get like Marvel has this whole like, okay, we throw jokes in these movies, not to take it so seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have liked this movie to be a little more serious.
Mm-hmm.
I can take a joke here and there, but I felt like the Hulk and Thor were just like,
jokes with a
there
little
were
bit of serious
comedians in this
moments.
movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know, like
they were written to be like comedians. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's another one of my my complaints with those two characters.
Yeah. But I will say, when Thor got down to business, he was not really something to be messed with.
Yeah, true.
He was on point. Oh man, he was awesome when he fought. But like when he was dual wielding, oh man, that was
pretty cool.
And then he used the Mjolnir as a throwing weapon and Stormbringer as his hand-to-hand. Stormbreaker, thank you, as a hand-to-hand.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that was something to watch. But yeah, when he just kind of like talked and kind of told a story, it was very lacking, I guess you want to say. Because like when you saw him meet his mother, he went from very funny to just very depressed, very sad, very broken person. Talked about Jane Foster, how he lost her, and like she's just not in his life anymore. I feel like Thor is just a very sad person who's just trying to find his way in life. I feel like he's just a character that's in his mid-20s.
Yeah, that too. But I feel like, not with having Asgard around, he's trying to like find out where he can be himself on Earth.
Kind of find his place in life.
Yeah, right. All right, so we're down to 7 minutes. My final question to you is, did you like the flow of this movie?
It flowed really well.
It did, yeah.
The direction that I felt that they went with this movie was 180 to what I thought the movie was going to be. I thought the movie was going to be sum it up, an underdog story, kind of where, they didn't have to go chase the Infinity Stones again. Instead of Thanos saying, oh, I made him disappear, and like now you have to go get him again. It gave the movie a plot outside of Thanos. I get it. But
them collecting the stones dragged a little bit.
Absolutely. Especially when they had to go back to another time period to go get the
stones.
The stones when Tony Stark lost his.
Yeah.
I feel like it should have been a bigger fight. I'm not saying that the fight scene was less than desirable, but I feel like they just kind of covered everything together. I think it would have been cool to see, their Thanos stick around and not like get killed by the Infinity Gauntlet, and that's how you killed him. But he carried on, and he was able to like that would be a great time for the Hulk to fight him.
Yeah.
And everything like that. Where like if they made that opening fight, that could have been really, really good.
It would have been cool.
Like in the garden.
Yeah.
But I mean, they decided to go a different direction with it. Am I upset?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
But it was just different than what I was expecting when I watched it.
Right. I totally understand. So I feel like this movie had a great flow to it. Obviously, there are some points where I felt like, it kind of dragged a little bit. Like I felt like when they got the stones or were collecting the stones, it was dragging a little bit, just a little bit. There were a few things too that I think that 5 years after they went and killed Thanos the first time, I don't know about 5. I think it would have been maybe like better if it was like 2 years after, 3 years after. You know what I mean? I think 5 was a little bit much.
I feel like at that point people would have moved on.
Yeah, exactly. I don't feel like people would have been like still thinking about Thanos all that time. You know what I mean? Obviously, people would be hurt about it because they lost families, but I think they would have like picked up and moved. Obviously, you know that this is as a review. We like to give things a grade using the CGC grades. And you obviously you know too about IMDb giving it a 9.1 out of 10 and Rotten Tomatoes giving it a 96% fresh tomatoes. What would you give this movie?
I'd say a 9.2. I feel like the first movie is up there in that 9.6 area of the Infinity Gauntlet Wars, but this one I feel like is just a little bit less than that. So I'd say a 9.2 is where I'm at.
I'm gonna 100% agree with you, and I'm gonna go with the same grade. I'm gonna go with a 9.2. Obviously, the movie is fantastic. It's a great movie, and it's a great ending to the MCU.
Absolutely.
At this point, it really is. And I want to thank the Russo brothers for giving us movies such as this because you know it is a great time to be a comic book fan right now. It really is. So it is a great movie, but I'm going to give it the 9.2 only the fact of what we said we didn't like about the movie, like, you know, Hulk not really being there, you know, not being the Hulk that we want to see. And you know, like Thor and Hulk being like too comedic to me. And just having that little bit of a, you know, maybe just a little bit of a drag time of them collecting the stones. So I think a 9.2 is very fair for this movie. I think Rotten Tomatoes, like, I think they went a little too high with that. Yeah,
and I feel like Rotten Tomatoes is never on point.
No, it's never on point. I never listen to Rotten Tomatoes anymore.
But then again, I mean, it's our opinion, not theirs.
Right. So I think that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. Let's have a conversation in the comment section. Please let us know what you thought about the movie and what were your favorite parts about the movie and what were your least favorite parts of the movie. If you liked anything that you saw in this video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more from the channel, make sure you subscribe. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys really soon.